Thank you very much for watching another episode of Solutions Barabarani. Now this week we start on a very low note as Kenyans are still trying to get into terms with what exactly happened in Garissa University College. A week ago, you remember, gunmen struck the university, and at the end of that day 149 lives were lost and 79 people were injured. Now that explains the need to donate blood, and so here today at Kencom, Kenyans of goodwill showed up in large numbers to donate blood for the victims.
As a country, it's a very big hit. It's a very big hit. Then we see that there are youngsters with all their ambition, visions, dreams, they have been lost. And since I cannot give life, this is the only way I can share my life, through donating blood.
Really, as an individual, as a person, I really join other Kenyans in detesting this heinous, terrorist attack that happened in Garissa, and condole with the families and tell them pole for what has happened. We stand, I think, as Kenyans, this is the time that we need to come together and stand as one.
It is really important to have such kind of campaign in terms of blood donation, because almost everybody in those casualties might need or needed transfusion immediately, and hopefully even not one unit, more than even 2 units, because when you talk about bullet wounds, gunshots and blast, really it means there is massive blood loss at that time. And the measures you need to put in place to have a unit that is already safe, available for them to be transfused. And actually we were able to handle that and save the situation on an emergency basis, because at that time at the venue in Garissa Satellite Blood Bank, they had 140 pints of blood, and we were able to airlift 100 pints of blood from Nairobi, just in case more and more casualties will have been saved from the massacre. We are having a drive that we are trying to name it as a solidarity, Kenya for Kenyans as well, just to show the country as a whole that we are available in times of need. We call them to provide blood, because blood is available as long as you are healthy. You just need to present yourself at the donation desk, and with very little medical information gathered from you, then we are in a position to ensure that your transfusion is safe.
It's so unfortunate to note that the Garissa attack happened just days after the UK released some intelligence reports indicating that some places in this country would face what they were calling as a security threats. Now, some of the places that were mentioned include the same Garissa County. Mandera was also there, Tana River and the coastal region. So at this point, let's listen to what Mr. President Uhuru Kenyatta had to say concerning the Garissa attack.
On my own behalf, on behalf of my government, I extend condolences to the families of those who have perished in this attack. We continue to pray for the quick recovery of the injured and the safe rescue of those still being held hostage. I also assure the nation that my government has undertaken appropriate deployment to the affected area and is fully seized of the situation. I also take this opportunity to urge Kenyans to stay calm as we resolve this matter and to provide the authorities with any information they may have in connection with any threats to our security. This is a moment for everyone throughout the country to be vigilant as we confront and defeat our enemies. I also further direct the Inspector General of Police to take urgent steps and ensure that the 10,000 recruits whose enrollment is pending promptly report for training at the Kenya Police College in Kiganjo. I take full responsibility for this directive. We as a country have suffered unnecessarily due to shortage of security personnel. Kenya badly needs additional officers, and I will not keep the nation waiting. I thank you very much for your attention.
Well, that was Mr. President Uhuru Kenyatta commenting on the sad story of the Garissa attack. But what exactly happened in Garissa? We now take a preview of the sad story of Garissa University College in pictures, and also listening to what the CS Foreign Affairs, Amina Mohammed, had to say about that incident.
First of all, I could send my sincere condolences for my colleagues who have passed away. We are very sorry for that incident. Secondly, pertaining to the security personnel, I could recommend because they were swiftly acted on the case. Yeah, I think they did a recommended job.
It's a very horrific situation. I mean, what I can urge the government is this is time for action. They stop politicizing security matters. I mean, they stop politicizing security matters, and 147 is not just a small number. You can imagine how long it takes to raise the life of 147 people. It is a long time. And you can imagine those parents who have lost their children. I mean, maybe they are the children, a parent was targeting that these children, when they finish school, this is the kind of child who will help me in my life in the near future. And the parent at the moment, with no child. Maybe it was only a single child at that home. It's very horrific.
Ningependa kujua mbona inafanyika na tunasema kuna serikali ama security yetu iko sawa. Kama juzi watu walikufa Mandera wakienda watu wale wa basi. Watu walimu wakafanya strike. Wakasema wale walimu hatutakuwa tena tunaenda kupotesha watu huko. Pia wale wametoka wanasoma kule ni wale watu wanatoka tena huko. Alafu mnasikia bado mnatuambia serikali bado inatuambia bado kuna security yenye inaweza tusaidia. Sasa ninakuwa hata najiuliza leo security gani na walimu walikuwa wanatetea ukweli wao ya kwamba wanatupatia maisha yao.
Serikali fanya naweza sema serikali ifanye ni hakikishe imehakikisha usalama kutosha.
The major challenges in the security sector as I am concerned, I think it's the personnel. They are very few. And I think that Mr. President addressed that yesterday. And I recommend Mr. President for that because I think that will work best. Because in such a situation, if there are enough personnel, the situation will become.
The only thing I need to say, I don't need to go further and explain many things. The only thing is that they stop politicizing security matters. That is all I can say.
Kwa hivyo kweli ile kuna mambo ile walikuwa wanasema nyumba kumi. Hata tukiangaliana hapa Nairobi, maybe unasema sisi wenyewe tunajiangalia. Lakini kule kuna watu wako pale mashinani sasa. Hawa ndio ningependa wale watu wenye wako huku watembelee kule. Naye amueleze vile hata wanafaa fanye. Kama niambie yule fulani akiona fulani anafanya hivi, ndio tujuane si kila mtu sisi wote.
What I was saying is that like government should take troop there, yeah, not like recruits. What on my opinion, I was saying they should take KDF.
I think security is everyone's responsibility.
We are not going to allow this incident or any other incidents such as this one to divide us as Kenyans, to drive wedges between us. We're going to stand firm. We are not going to succumb to anybody, any foreigner or Kenyan that comes here and thinks that they can commit crimes and drive a wedge between us. It's not going to happen. And therefore I'm just here to, I think, mourn with everybody else and to support the initiatives that are being put in place by the Muslim leaders and to tell them that we appreciate that and we hope that we can maintain this momentum and just continue talking about the real Islam and making sure that nobody mistakes terrorism again for Islam.
That was the CS of Foreign Affairs, Amina Mohammed, directly calling on the media to practice responsible journalism and not to name any terrorist as a Muslim. Also today, following the allegations that the attack in Garissa was mainly targeted for non-Muslims, the Muslim fraternity has come forward to condemn that attack in the strongest terms possible and putting it in black and white that Islam is not terrorism. And in that regard, speaking to the media today, they called on all Kenyans to maintain harmony and live in peace because Kenya needs each and everyone and we should all fight Al-Shabaab in one unison.
Anybody who claims to be a Muslim, our main responsibility here is to teach people what is the true Islam. And then if somebody decides to deviate away from, and I'm glad you're using the word extreme, Islam is about moderation. It's a moderate religion. But if anybody decides to go to the extreme, then that's why we are saying here we appeal to the law enforcement agencies and the security agencies in this country to take up the matter with such people. But as I said here, our initiatives are these. We have been accused for a long time of keeping quiet, particularly the mainstream Muslim leaders. And we are saying now enough is enough. We want to go out there and preach the correct Islam and tell anybody who deviates from that, then they have to, like it's put in Christianity, they will carry their own cross. Yeah. Because the true Islam does not accept this kind of behavior that is criminal. And you know, in Islam, unknown to many people, or maybe some of you know, the killing of one innocent soul is equivalent to the killing of the whole of humanity. That is how serious it is in Islam.
I'm very happy to say, may Allah bless you and bless your unity and stay strong, stay united in front of this, what I would call unacceptable forces who's using the name of Islam to kill people who are very innocent in a sense that they did not commit any crime that deserves what have been done to them, and Allah knows best.
It's really sad what happened, and I would like to pass a message to everyone. You should not be stereotypes, and it's not Islam, it's not about religion here. Even as Muslims, we are very sad for what happened because our religion does not allow that. We do not kill innocent people just like that.
Powerful words there from the Muslim fraternity distancing themselves from terror activities in Kenya. Now at this point we take a short break, but do stay with us because when we come back we engage a security analyst who will tell us exactly when did the rain start beating us in this war on terror. Keep it WTV. The question that everyone is asking at this point is, what will it take for Kenya to win this war on terror? Should we change our strategies when it comes to fighting terrorism? Maybe we need to make our justice system more tight to make sure that the terrorists do not have a way of getting a bail and then continue with these sporadic attacks in the countries. Now, to still put that information into perspective, we talked to one Mr. Mbaye, who is a security expert and also lectures at Kenyatta University on security matters, to basically talk about some of the hits and misses when it comes to government war on terror.
Okay, the country has proved that we are slightly behind. Every time that there is an attack, normally we are very reactive, but we do not appear to preempt. So there is a lot of information. But remember also, the groups that we are dealing with in terms of terrorists are changing constantly. And therefore, some information may not be on time to deal with the situation. We should never think we can never win the war of terror on a military dimension only. So the more we are using force and forgetting that there is also the human factor, keeps isolating the problems. So there must be other dimension which like humanitarian working around the area. There should be adequate conflict transformation within the sectors, and there is a need for engagement, including with the groups that are attacking the country. So we should not ignore the possibility for us reaching a dialogue by engaging. So the military should continue, the force should continue, but other dimension of human relationship must not be ignored. In the first case, we must strengthen our emergency preparedness, because once we have adequate emergency preparedness, then we can be able to intervene effectively. Reason because we've seen in the last couple of years, particularly from 2011, we have been attacked, but we've not been able to prevent the attacks, and at the same time the response has not been as immediate. Secondly, there is need to continually work on long-term measures of preempting threats, and this should take two dimensions. One should continue with the police work the same way with the military, but at the same time we should strongly support the humanitarian dimension. We can't transform change of a radical group only by chasing them with guns. There have been a lot of efforts. You remember that this recently even the more serious attack was expected in Uganda, not in Kenya, and attention was even going towards that. And the suspicion was particularly very different. Nobody expected that the attacks are going to target the universities. But the Al-Shabaab and other groups are already warned. So there was definitely some information that they are giving warning that they are going to attack. But if you find the university, the type of protection which was there was not adequate, because if they attacked the outside and there was nobody inside to protect inside, then the institution was extremely vulnerable.
Well, many Kenyans are blaming the government and saying that the government lacks cards in this affair. Some are blaming it on corruption. Unfortunately, in Kenya, this is a country where corruption is defined when the big fish squander money in public offices. But think about it. Is it not corruption when someone assists the other person to cross the border without a permit, which leads maybe that person was a terrorist? We now focus on the place of corruption in security matters.
First, corruption, particularly the economic corruption, undermines the country's development. And many people feel that they have no opportunity for development. Talented young people find that as long as there is corruption, they cannot grow. So there is a possibility that many people, and you can find those who are fighting, like now those who are attacking Garissa, are very young people who should be in the university. In fact, they should also be doing other things that are positive in the community. But because of the general disorder that they feel about country's development, particularly corruption, then they may also feel that since there is no alternative, then they can also take an alternative in a different dimension. So corruption plays a significant part in influencing how people think and also the fact that it also creates serious poverty, particularly for the young people, then possibility for alternatives will always remain open. The country has been in a very difficult situation, but we have to be very careful between the constitution that we have created and defending the same constitution. So when the court has given an order and constantly we break that order, it means already we are not obeying the same rules that we have set. So that's a challenge. It may not be seen in the immediate, but in the long run it may undermine the law of law. And secondly, you should also look at it from an emergency point of view. There are times when the president can take a certain executive position, but this needs to be defended at Parliament, also as the Senate and many other levels, so that they do not appear as solitary and creating a position that somebody is becoming, let's say, as a hardened character. Because the president's interest is to secure the country. So that the personnel that we have in this country is not adequate to address the problem that is there. And therefore, the court should also, at the same time, find what is the balance between protecting the country and securing the law.
It's amazing to see how sometimes what is targeted to divide Kenyans can turn out to be a unifying factor. Now a campaign dubbed Kenya Pamoja has been launched, and the campaign entails people donating blood for the Garissa victims. And as you can see behind me, we have a lot of people donating blood, all in the name to save lives of the 79 people who escaped with severe injuries. Now you can also send your donations to Kenya Red Cross using the pay bill number. Mobi Cash is 858585. We also have M-Pesa and Airtel Money using the same 858585. So be part of this great campaign. And now we come to the end of our show. Till next time, be safe.